Welcome to our last 10 minutes of 2020. No, not the last one. We'll be back in 2021, but this is the last one of 2020 before you're going to have to go through 2 weeks of holiday best of shows, which I'm sure you're really looking forward to.
I am.
We haven't even recorded the best of show yet, Kate. We've got some work to do on that.
I have some things up my sleeve. Don't worry.
I don't want to know. I mean, basically, really the best of that we're going to talk about is what happened to my hair over the last 10 months.
Yeah, that is something we need to talk about. There's regular text messages.
What happened there?
His daughter's hairstyling kit. They're two, but they could maybe do something.
They used to be like super long, or they used to be like super short?
I had a much shorter haircut, and I got a haircut about 2 weeks before the pandemic, where they sent us all home, and I haven't had a haircut since. And now my hair is longer than one of my daughter's hair.
Jeez. No, I feel you, man. I went like 4 months without a haircut, and it was like my hair was an absolute mess up there.
My the other night I was getting ready for bed, and I was like brushing my teeth, and my wife walks into the bathroom, and she's like, oh, "You're just so gross."
No, I got that from my sister all the time at home. They're like, "Why are you using headbands all the time? Why are you always wearing hats inside the house?" And I'm like, "I need to get this done quick."
So, I just cut my boyfriend's hair.
It was a trust issue like early on in the pandemic, but you just gotta like at a point you just like reach a breaking point. So you're just like, I have to do this eventually.
How many weeks till DJ hits one, do you think?
I'm surprised he hasn't hit it now.
When I get locked out of the house, that'll be when. So
noted.
So we like to break records here on this show, and this might be the longest record where we have gone into a conversation with the guest without actually introducing our guest today. So before we go any further, we want to introduce the host of the TV on Basketball podcast out of Canada. Please welcome TV. Welcome to the show.
Hi guys. I know we just went through a whole conversation, but how you guys doing?
We're doing good.
I'm doing great. I think my hair is doing great. My wife doesn't think so.
And I don't think so. And I'm your co-host, so my opinion matters.
You've sent me some critique of my hair, and I cannot repeat it because it's very, very awful comparisons. But I 100% disagree with your analogy. So
it's not bad. It's not horrible.
It could be a lot worse.
Yeah, it could be worse.
Now I need to reread what I sent you.
Go back and do that. It was very hurtful, actually. I'm going to say it hurt right here. So.
Are you sure it didn't hurt up here?
Oh gosh, that's a shot right there.
It hurt here, and you make it hurt right here. So right back at you. So I bought her for her birthday the Quiet Please golf sign. So if I'm talking too much, she holds it up. We introduced it last week, but let's get this show started, even though we're a few minutes in already and haven't done anything.
I already forgot the timer.
You usually do. So, TV on Basketball podcast. Tell us a little bit about why that happened. Why'd you start it?
I started 2 years ago. I believe it was near right before the 2018-2019 season in the NBA. I honestly wasn't doing anything that year. It was a gap year for me in university, so I was just trying to develop some hobbies. So I was like, I've been a basketball fan my whole life, so I was like, I really like talking about it. So I just started it then. And honestly, throughout this pandemic, it just like kind of heightened because at this point, I'm like, I have so much time on my hands. So I just continued recording, and it's been honestly just like a lot of fun. And especially this year, I've been adding like a lot of guests to my show and stuff like from like all over the place. So it's been awesome, like this podcast.
I'm straining. What do you feel about bubbles, or how do you feel about bubbles?
What?
Bubbles, like in terms of like, are you talking about the social distancing?
Any type.
Oh, bubble, like social bubbles.
Or the NBA bubble.
Yeah, I was going with that, but I decided to leave it vague. And if we started talking about other bubbles, I was gonna just let it go.
It's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, that actually is a relevant question.
Yeah, that is true. No. Well, in bubbles, I mean, I don't know, it makes me feel like a kid every time I see them. But
right.
Yeah, in terms of the NBA bubble, I thought it was honestly a really good idea just to kind of like end out the NBA season. I mean, obviously, like you see like stuff that's happening in the NFL and stuff like with all the traveling, but in the NBA they managed to make it work, and honestly, it was still like entertaining basketball at the end of the day. So I was happy with it.
I mean, outside of the chicken wings incident early on, who was that, by the way? I can't remember now. Was it somebody from the Clippers who did that?
It was no, I think it was the Rockets. It was like some guy, at the end of their bench who like went
Yeah,
over the boundary. Yeah,
he
it
went.
was,
He left.
oh, I think you're talking about Lou Williams, who had to
Yeah,
like
Lou
go to
Williams. That's
Atlanta.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
did he go to
Atlanta.
a strip club and say he was going to pick up chicken wings or something?
I don't know. Like that was a weird scenario,
Yeah,
but
it was just it was weird. I mean, they went through this bubble for what, 3 months or so. Not a
yeah,
single positive test. They got all their games in. I mean, between the NBA and the NHL and Major League Soccer's Orlando tournament, I mean, those bubbles were handled extremely well.
yeah, especially like because like the NBA had to share it, I believe, with the MLS as well. So I was surprised that like there was no like contact of like any kind, and that they were still able to get no cases. So yeah, very surprised there.
So before we go too far, who's your team?
I have my flag right behind me right there.
Yeah, it was
The
partially
Toronto,
blocked. Okay.
yeah, the Toronto Raptors. I mean, I think I watched my first game when I was like 4 years old, and ever since then just kept watching. And that big championship at the end of last year was awesome. It was completely awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time. I mean, it's sad that Kawhi left after only 1 year. I mean, that could have been
Something
special had he hung around. But I mean, even without him, they still have a really good team.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm excited for this upcoming season. I mean, we did lose a couple players, but I'm excited for this season.
It's the first time I'm excited about an NBA season, maybe ever.
Really? Yeah.
I mean, I moved out here to Phoenix 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago now, and I decided I need to go all in on one of the teams out here. And I wasn't really an NBA fan, so I'm like, okay, de facto, I'm going to be a Suns fan, and they sucked for more than decades. So
yeah, no, this year is different.
yeah, it's like, hey, you got the Chris Paul Devin Booker combo. I mean, that if both of them can stay healthy, that'll be exciting to watch. I'm looking forward to that.
Same here.
So what should a new listener expect from your episodes?
If they like come onto my channel, just expect honestly just all NBA talk. I can go on for hours just talking about the NBA, but I try to keep it to like a nice like acceptable length. At least like now, like if you want to look at things like weekly, on Mondays I just do kind of a recap on the NBA. On Fridays I usually try to have a guest on, so like we have like different points of views and stuff. I also try to innovate, like we usually kind of go off topic sometimes about their lives as well, so that's pretty like cool conversations. And just recently I've started like doing stuff on YouTube. Like every Wednesday I just have a YouTube exclusive video of me like either reacting to highlights, or I've tried out recently like trying out some NBA quizzes on the internet, which honestly kind of like break my mind at times, but those have been really fun. But yeah, if you on the podcast for just Mondays, just like good like episodes recapping the NBA on my part, and then Fridays just good collabs.
I recommend doing an episode ranking butts. Just saying.
And NBA butts?
Yeah, why not?
I know. I think the Raptors have the best one in the league. Kyle Lowry, just like he has the best one in the league. I don't think there's any competition there. What do you say?
Oh, man. I lost my train of thought. You just completely threw me off, Kate. Thanks.
Yes.
Oh man. It's just, going back over the last 25, 30 years of the NBA. We were talking to our guest last week who is from the Detroit area and actually had been a ball boy for the Pistons before. And we got into the topic of the Malice at the Palace from 2000, was that 2004?
Yeah.
With the Pacers and the Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how old you are. Are you old enough to recall watching that live, or is that something that you saw later on?
It's something I definitely was really young. I mean, I'm 20. So I like I only like see like highlights and stuff of that. So yeah, so like I don't remember it clearly, but it's still something a lot of NBA fans just know about.
DJ, your cane will show up on Friday.
I was about to say, did you pull out your phone to do the math to figure out how old or what year he was born, if it's 2020.
No, to order you a cane because you're an old man.
I need a walker, and with the walker, make me put those like half tennis balls on the bottom of it too. Otherwise, I might.
Oh goodness!
I'll add one to the cart.
Yeah, I don't know. Whenever I think of those tennis balls, I think of the movie Up. With like the odd man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think of that like off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring us back to our regularly scheduled questions.
No, you're not, guys. I want to make one last thing about the Pacers thing. I want to, my pride and joy moment on Twitter. There's been a couple of them, but my pride and joy moment is, you remember the big three in Boston, with Kevin Garnett and
Paul Pierce. Yeah.
There was rumors that they tried to convince Reggie Miller to come out of retirement to play for them, and he denied it for years. I got Reggie Miller to admit on Twitter that he seriously almost took the offer to come out of retirement.
Really?
Yes.
Like when was it? When was this?
It was probably about 5 or 6 years ago. It was probably a few years longer than that, but he was doing an Ask Me Anything, and I threw that question out there, and all of a sudden I get this alert on my phone: Reggie Miller TNT has responded to your tweet. I'm like,
that's crazy.
What? And I'm reading this, and I'm like, are you kidding me? He actually answered the question.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember that story. I didn't think it was actually. I didn't think. I thought it was full of baloney, but apparently he actually considered it.
He confirmed it. He said that he was very, very close to taking the offer, and he ultimately just, decided not to. But Kate, let's go ahead and get us back on track for once. It's usually not you.
I can talk, I swear. Okay, so what is a piece of advice you would give to a new content creator?
Honestly, just if you're thinking of doing it, just go do it. I mean, there's a lot, especially like early on in podcasting, I can relate to, is that you kind of overthink things. Like you want to say like, oh, should I put out this content? Do you think this content is good for, my audience, stuff like that? But at the end of the day, I mean, just do like what you like to do, and then and then you'll start finding your niche, and then it just like you just got to go forward it. I mean, as long as you like what you're talking about, what you're doing, and just put out the content as much as possible. So I guess like all in all, just say like just do it. Just go like post like whatever you want. Yeah.
Good advice.
Yeah.
So, Kate, do you want to deviate any more before we move on to the last question?
Nah, I'm good.
I was about to say, are we just gonna just sit here and have a moment of silence for something?
What are your feelings on Space Jam?
The new one or the old one?
Space Jams 2.
The old one.
The old one, one of my favorite movies as a kid. I still have it on VCR.
Me too.
I have it on VCR, which is absolutely crazy. I don't know if I still have a VCR player, but
I don't.
I don't either. It's more the fact what the good thing is like it's on Netflix now, which is great. So whenever I could just definitely go back on it. But honestly, like one of my favorite movies. I know a lot of what's funny is that a lot of people my age don't like it. I don't know why, but I absolutely love it. I mean, Bugs Bunny and stuff like that, and like Michael Jordan, one of the best, honestly, one of my favorite movies of all time.
You get the random Bill Murray appearance and.
Oh no, there's a lot. There's the Bill Murray one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, the Bill Murray appearance, the one with, I don't know if you remember this. I don't know. One of my favorite scenes from that movie was Stan getting flattened at center court.
Yes.
Yeah, getting flattened at center court. And
that was awesome.
That was one of my favorite. One of my favorite moments in movie history, just like him they have to blow him up, and then they had to like take him to the hospital after that.
Yeah, and he like
I don't know, and there's like a gigantic fart at the end of it. It was
yeah. We cannot forget that the voice of the moron mountain guy was Danny DeVito, the great Danny DeVito.
That is true. Which is crazy because he actually like has the same kind of stature as that. The same kind of stature. So it felt perfect. It feels perfect.
Perfect.
Hey, were you the one who sent me that Space Jam meme the other day?
No,
it wasn't you then. It said something to the extent of like, did you know that in Michael Jordan prepping to be in Space Jam, he spent 9 years in the NBA and won 3 championships?
True.
Hey, yo, that took. I mean, to freaking beat freaking Moron Mountain, all that, you needed all that experience, man. Especially against
Yeah.
those monsters. Yeah,
The Monstars, yeah,
Yeah,
they were like the dream team.
I mean, you
exactly.
stole the talent of Patrick Ewing, who was a very dominant player. You had Muggsy Bogues, there was Shawn Bradley, Charles
Yeah.
Barkley, and was Larry Johnson the other one?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
those are 5 great players in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need
yeah.
Michael Jordan to beat them.
Yeah, and Michael Jordan, he had to prepare a lot for that, especially because he was a retired scrub at that point of his career. Just like yeah. So
Wouldn't it be a full year if I did not bring up Space Jams?
Yeah. But we do have Space Jam 2 coming up. When is that coming out? Is that next year?
It's like next year. It's on like HBO Max. It's gonna be like on HBO Max or something.
It got postponed. Originally, it was coming out a little earlier, I thought, but
yeah,
I am so ready for it.
I'm ready for it. I'm definitely ready for it.
I'm very interested to see where they go with it. Not necessarily like I'm not excited for the movie itself, but it's just like what they do with the storyline this time around. It's like, are you just going to make a copy and here's 2020 players they steal talent from, or are they going to try to make this completely different? So I'm very interested.
I don't know. There are a lot of rumors talking about how they're going to there's like some time travel and stuff like that. So I don't know. It could go like really crazy.
There's a 50-50 chance that now that I have our Twitter password again, I've been banned from social media temporarily, that I might live tweet watching the movie.
Actually, no, you don't. I had to change it the other day.
Oh.
Hey, for the podcast listeners, I'm definitely gonna be doing a movie review on that when it does come out. So
we got some suspicious DMs sent our way, and I didn't click on anything, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just change it just to be safe. I'll have to send it to you. Just when
I like to respond and pretend to be DJ.
Whatever. I just 2020's been a year. We're just gonna say that. So
yep.
All right, so let's wrap it up. TV, where do we find your show? Where do we find your social media? You hear my children screaming in the background?
The pet pterodactyl.
I'm used to it on university Zoom calls, man. It's like the kids are always like running around in the background of like our professors and stuff. So I'm used to it. But yeah, in terms of my social media and stuff, you can follow me at TV on Basketball, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can find me there. And on the podcast networks, I know you could find my podcasts on Apple, Spotify, Podbean, and Anchor. And I also have a YouTube channel at TV on Basketball. So you should definitely go check that out, to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you want to just like find like a good list of them, I have a link tree on my Instagram. So yeah, you can find all of that there.
Awesome. So TV, thanks again for joining us for the last episode of 2020 and all the craziness that was this episode.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, thank you. 2020. It's almost in the books. But then you see those memes where it says like you open up December 31st and you rip off the calendar. It says December 32nd, December 30th.
Oh, I was like, I keep seeing the ones that are like round 2 begin.
Yes. I don't know. My favorite one is like when the clock stops at like 11:59:59 and we're just stuck here. We're just stuck in this year. So
it starts going backward. No.
Exactly.
It's been a year.
Hope for the best next year, though. Hope for the best.
May 2021.
Zombie apocalypse.
For 2021 to be better than 2020 is such a low bar at this point. I mean, it's like
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, zombie apocalypse, alien invasion. That's really the only thing worse that it could be at this point. So,
but is it completely out of the picture? I don't think it's completely.
Well, I mean, there was the story the other day where the former space. Whatever his name, the Secretary of Space Travel in Israel said that there is a galaxy federation and that we're too embarrassing of a people to be invited to join.
Actually, DJ, did you read anything about the minks that are coming back? They had to kill a bunch of them because they were carrying COVID in Europe, and now they're coming back out of the graves. So they're calling them zombie minks.
No.
What? That's a thing? Oh my goodness.
Turns out they just didn't bury them deep enough. So
they just kind of
they're getting ejected from the ground. But the whole thought of zombies.
No, once you said like crawling out the ground, that just had like an initial shock on my body. Just like I can imagine like the Mig's hand just like sticking up from the bottom of the ground.
No, exactly. No, not gonna happen. We're gonna be done with that. We're gonna close the show off right here before it ruins anything else for us today.
Yeah. 2021, guys. 2021.
Yes. Well, the year we start to get back to normal and crossing our fingers. So
yeah.
All right. So TV again, thanks for stopping by. And for everybody else, check us out at stadiumscene.tv. Join the network at Stadium Scene on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, and at stadium_scene on Instagram. And we will see you for the the year in review show. But otherwise, new episodes start in the first week of 2021, and we'll see you then. Bye now.
Bye.